What is up, everybody? We're here in the round of 4, the second half of the round of 4, I should say, of the ASL. And man, oh man, what a match we've got tonight. Flash versus Rain.
This is the best match any of you will ever watch. The strongest players from 2 different races, one of which including, of course, the god of pro gaming, the strongest pro gamer ever to have lived across all titles for all time, forwards and backwards. Flash is going to be going up against the only person that is anywhere near approaching something that could one day approach what Flash is.
Yeah, he is really on a streak here. In the last couple of years, Rain has looked to be maybe the best Protoss player that we have in the whole world right now, for sure. We're going to be confirming that here, assuming that Flash were to move on, and we'll see what happens with Flash versus Snow. But Rain dominated, Rain murdered in the KSL. And in so many of his games, he's making Protoss look able to do things we didn't really think were possible. He's got his own approach. This guy was at times the best StarCraft 2 player in the world. He's now switched back into StarCraft 1 and has become the champion of the biggest StarCraft 1 tournaments we've had here in Korea, whether that's KSL or ASL. This could have easily been a finals.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I know that Flash is the greatest gamer of all time, but if there was someone who could beat him, Rain is that person. Rain and the third player that's in the tournament, Snow, who's now in the finals waiting here. I think literally those two, I mean, certainly Last has done so in the past, but right now, these 3 players looking untouchable. We're either going to have an amazing PvT in the finals or a PvP. Another great match like we had in KSL. Probably a little bit closer as well.
Well, I tell you what, like, Rain, in my eyes, is the only player that is approaching a legendary status in StarCraft 1 right now. We have people that are already actual legends like Flash, like Jaedong, like Stork, but the only person that is actually distancing themselves from everyone else, like there's a lot of players that are really good right now, like Snow and Mini and, you know, several others that are very, very strong pros, but Rain is legitimately putting himself into this echelon that is so hard to get to, that takes so long, but he's got the dual championships, he's unbelievably respected, but you want to talk about respect.
I got to jump in here. Yeah, every player in the ASL voted for Flash to advance. That's right. What all those red bars are. Those are the names of the Korean pros.
Yes, that is, everybody thinks he'll win. And
here is the online poll predictions as well.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I think that it's not exactly reality. Flash is not 100% to win this, but it shows the level of respect that literally not one player that's a pro gamer, not one of them would say that Rain, the best Protoss in the world, would win.
Yeah. Now, as lopsided as that is, I actually still think this is going to be an incredibly close match, and I think we could still have an upset here. We got a quick video, and then we're going to be jumping into our match, so don't go away.
Today's matchup: Flash, Rain. AfreecaTV ASL Season 8 Semi-Final.
Okay, it's time to bring out our 2 players. One other thing, as we do this intro, I want to emphasize is that after this, Flash will be doing his compulsory military service.
Yeah, so this is his last tournament.
This is his last tournament. He has had massive increased injury in his forearms and wrists. The doctor said that this was worse than anything he had seen before. So this might be the last time we see Flash play in a long time. The greatest gamer of all time. This might be the last match you see. Probably not, but maybe. Yeah. Rain's pretty damn good.
He is indeed.
You know, people might predict a winner. I get it. I think that Flash is favored here. Not massively, slightly. Just that everybody would vote for him as being slightly favored. But I'll tell you what, man. Rain could take this. Rain has put in a lot of preparation.
No doubt about that. Flash is, he said that he was going to try his best for this tournament, and when you hear that, you know it's going to be good.
And it's now time to bring out that opponent, Rain, who is coming out here, the underdog. But I'll tell you what, man, an ASL champion, a KSL champion, I mean, how underdog really is that?
Well, Rain is literally favored against everyone on Earth except for Flash.
Correct.
And Flash is literally favored against everyone on Earth. People are like, not effort. No, shut up. Yes, effort too.
Yeah. We're going to go to an interview. Andy, go ahead and translate this for us, then we hop into our game.
All right, we're going to have a conversation with the two players before getting into the match. Flash, you Snow going to the finals. And he has given you a loss before. And this is your time to take your revenge against him. And your opponent today is Rain. What kind of mindset do you have right now? Well, I prepared a lot for tonight's game. And honestly, it's not going to be an easy one for sure. And as the king of Terran, I'll try to put up the best TVP ever. In online records, Flash, you're far ahead. And all the players and fans have made predictions that you are going to move on to the finals. And many fans have predicted that you will never, ever lose to Rain. What do you think about that? I don't feel like I'm really that ahead. You know, I feel indifferent, and I'm just gonna put up all the preparation that I made into tonight's performance. And Rain, you are the Emperor of Protoss, and you're by far the best Protoss player. The Rain, you've shown phenomenal performance on stage and in tournaments. And currently, you haven't given a single loss in this season of ASL. What do you think? Flash is just a really strong player. And I guess that's why all the fans and players predict that he's gonna win. But I don't think I'm a really I think I'm a skilled player as well. So if I can just win the first set, I think I have a chance as well. And Rain, you're showing your smile right now. And I guess that's a sign of confidence. And Rain, you've lost to Flash quite a lot before. But on an offline stage, I think you will be able to make an upset today. And Rain, have you made preparation to defeat Flash today? Well, I have made preparation, but I don't know what kind of build Flash is going to go for in tournaments. But I do have confidence for sure. And you say you have a chance. And Flash has just mentioned that he's going to show the best TVP performance in his life. Well, I'm not too sure about that actually. Well, we'll have to see. And would you like to say something to Flash? Well, I've made a lot of preparation too. So I do have a good chance of winning. And the venue is austere with lots of fans today. So I guess the fans are here are having expectations that I might be able to win as well. And Flash, how will you play out your game today? Please tell it to Rain. Well, as for me, this season I'm really greedy for that final spot. So I'm gonna try my best today, and this season matters me the most. And I'm going to move on to the finals and play against Snow and defeat him. We're going to move on to the finals and pulverize Snow. That's what he said.
4강 경기 선수들이
And we are
자신 있어
just
하는 경기가 펼쳐질 텐데요.
a short ahead
과연 어떤 명경기가 나올지
of
여러분의
tonight's
뜨거운
match.
박수 함성으로
And let's see how these players compete in tonight's match. And let the games begin.
차면 주고서 골든 트로피의 주인공이 됩니다.
1등 아니면 큰 의미는 없다 이런 생각으로 이제 2명 남았으니까 우승컵 가져올 수 있도록 하겠습니다.
선수가 아닌 ASL 원정 새로운 역사를 쓰는 선수가 나왔습니다.
준비한 거 꼭 다 보여드리도록 하겠습니다.
누가 이기든 간에 결승 가는 거니까 한번 했으면 좋겠습니다.
대회에서 영어랑 한 번도 안 해봤어요. 괜찮은 것 같아요. 네, 이길 것 같아요.
AfreecaTV ASL Season 8 Semi-Final.
All right, we're going to get this started. Again, this is a best of 5. The winner goes on to face off in the finals against Snow. Flash, the best player in any game ever of all time. This may be his last match. He is having problems in his wrists and forearms. I think that won't hinder him from finishing the matches we have today, but I think long-term it's going to be good for him to stop after this tournament for a little bit.
He needs a break.
But Rain has been incredibly successful, has made Protoss look able to do things we never thought possible. And I know that when people have been voting on this, they've been saying Flash, obviously Flash the overwhelming favorite, but I think as far as skill goes, this is going to be incredibly close.
You know, these guys are so storied. Let's just talk about that to begin, right? Rain, he is a StarCraft 2 champion. He won multiple turns there, including Code S. He's the kind of the father of defensive Protoss play. Without Rain, you don't get stats, okay? He paved the way with that. He was so strong in that way. And then he switches over to StarCraft 1, which, of course, he started his career in, but was still a new up-and-comer. By the way, that's where the finals is. Definitely check that out.
Quick bookmark this real quick here. For our finals, it's going to be at Children's Grand Park Outdoor Concert Hall. We've had a couple finals here already. It's a great location. That'll be starting at 5 p.m. KST. Be sure to get there early. I know it looks like it's close to these subway exits on the map. It's a little bit of a walk, not totally easy to find. And you want to make sure you get a good seat.
Yeah. So back to Rain real quick, right? So he came back to StarCraft 1, where he's already won a KSL and an ASL. And other than that, he's always in the round of 8, the round of 4, right? So he has been unbelievably consistent, only last matching that type of consistency in those championships. But let's look at Flash, right? Like, Flash has 3 OSLs. Flash has 3 MSLs. Those are the equivalent back in the day of ASL. And then he came back to StarCraft 1 after a stint in StarCraft 2 where he wasn't as strong, but he did win an overseas IEM, and he was one of the very top win percentage Terrans out there, one of the top 3 Terrans in the scene at the time. But he came back eventually, right, to StarCraft 1. Okay, this is ASL number 8.
Yes.
Okay, let me run through Flash's history. Back when he first returned to ASL Season 1, he wasn't quite up to par. He lost in a round of 8, 3-2 to last. He won the next 3 ASLs after that, including 3-0ing last in the round of 8 in the second one to show that, like, oh, hey, I'm back, by the way. The guy who beat me is dead now. Okay, and then, of course, he ended up beating C, Shine, and Hero in the finals. Then he ended up losing round of 8 to Snow, 3-2, in a season where it was very obvious that the map pool was anti-Terran.
Yes, a.k.a. the map Sparkle, which we don't have anymore here. But, yeah, definitely a map pool that was quite difficult for him to get through. Maps have been used throughout tournaments in StarCraft 1 to try to do some balancing, and that was definitely not his tournament.
Yeah, if I recall, there was like 2 maps won by non-Flash Terrans against non-Terran opponents in that tournament. So it was like insane, the lengths to which it was gone to stop Flash from winning. Then Flash ended up getting to the finals of the next ASL, lost to Effort in a tight, awesome match, then didn't play the next one. So if you look at this, he skipped 1, 3 victories, a finals, and 2 round of 8s. It's insane what he's done.
The map lineup that we have is Neo Sylphid, Blockchain, Overwatch, New Bloody Ridge, and Tripod.
Yeah, very
no repeats
straightforward.
here.
Nope.
No repeats at all.
Pool, that's how we do it. Of course, the bans make perfect sense. You do not want to play Multiverse as a Terran against Protoss. And Neo Ground Zero, I promise you Flash would abuse the hell out of Rain on that map.
Certainly.
So this is the set that we have. It's exciting, man.
This absolutely could go to Game 5. Rain has so many different builds, so many approaches to this matchup. Excellent in the early game, great in the late game as well. Flash, of course, is the complete picture of anything you could imagine RTS as far as perfection goes. And this is going to be a lot of fun. I think we're going to see some of the most sophisticated TVP of all time in StarCraft history.
Can't wait to see what he does. I just can't wait because he is a master of literally every build because he made most of them.
Yeah.
He's got the best macro, the best game sense, the smartest decision making.
We're talking about a player who's been insanely successful for over a decade, okay? So when people come from other games and say, what about this guy who won this thing? I say, give me 10 more years of that and get it in a scene as competitive as StarCraft 1.
It's a good way to put it. The way I like to word it is go ask that pro gamer if they could be another pro gamer, who it would be, and I swear to God they'll always answer Flash. Because if you're good enough to be the very best ever in your game, then you look up to Flash.
Yeah.
There's just no question.
We have both of our players in the lobby. We're very close to starting this out. We'll be unpacking the matchup on the map. Neo Sylphid in just a little bit. This is the ultimate test for Rain. Rain winning an ASL, winning a KSL, but still in the shadow of Flash, someone who's just been so unbelievably dominant for so long, and at least for now, is still active.
Yep.
He has not hung up his mantle yet.
Well, this is the ultimate victory. If either he or Snow can end up defeating Flash, that is a big moment. Because the thing is, Flash, all right, he's not going to military right after this turn, but he's not playing another till he does. So it could easily be 2 years before he's active again,
maybe
if he gets active.
More.
Yeah. And we don't know if he'll ever reach this level again. There's a possibility he doesn't want to. There's a possibility he can't.
He moves on, or we don't know what the future holds.
So this is the last chance for anyone to do this.
And this is the opposite tale here for Rain, who he actually donated, I believe, one of his kidneys to his father.
That's right.
If you donate an organ in South Korea, you don't have to do military service. You're exempt.
Yeah.
You've obviously done your service to the country in a different way. And so, Rain has no reason to stop going.
Absolutely. We should, I think that Rain is just going to be the next Bisu, you know, where it's just this is a god right here. He's forever.
And if he wins here, that's just going to catapult him into a place where he has so much momentum and so much that's already accomplished behind him. I don't think he's going to be stopped. So this is really the turning point right now in StarCraft 1 history. There's 2 possible forks in the road here, and StarCraft 1's going to be different forever, no matter which way we go. Okay, either Flash reclaims, or I should say reasserts himself as a dominant player in any tournament he touches without a map that like Sparkle, or Flash will disappear, maybe forever, maybe for a little bit.
Yeah.
As Rain, I mean, we'll see what happens with Rain and Snow as well, but at least for this phase of the tournament, Rain is going to continue his hegemony as a Protoss player here in StarCraft Remastered.
That's right. So far, Rain hasn't lost any maps here. Of course, he was seeded into the round of 16 because you can't stop this guy from getting round of 4 in any tournament he's in. Of course, there he is again. He will be seeded in the next season, regardless of what happens tonight. But we haven't seen him play a player the caliber of Flash yet. But, well, the thing is, these two are the only players that are truly of this caliber. Like, them and Last, basically, are the three players that you look at and you're like, okay, you guys are a bit above everyone with the amount of championships you hold.
So exciting to have these two players here now. Again, this could easily be a finals of almost any of the ASLs we've had here. Rain, by the way, having more success than Flash in StarCraft 2. Now back here in StarCraft 1. Obviously, Flash still a successful, excellent player in StarCraft 2. But man, both these guys are like the gods of RTS, really.
They actually
really are. It's kind of crazy. And you know, we've seen with Sulky as well, the two guys that came back with the most success in StarCraft 2, really killing it here in StarCraft 1. Our game is ready. Flash vs. Rain on Neo Sylphid. Best of 5, a fight to the finals starts now. Big cheers.
I'm so excited right now.
Yeah.
Up at 12 o'clock, we have Flash. Of course, the map Neo Sylphid. Down in the bottom left, we have Rain. So, I'm like giddy and a little bit wiggly right now to see what Flash is bringing for us.
Well,
just thinking about how strong he is, but how strong Rain is. You know, these two are pretty darn good friends as well. And I like to make a story in my head. It's because they're the only two that understand each other or something like that. But known as good friends that haven't fought yet in an official match like this.
There's so much on the line here. It's kind of crazy. Let's unpack the map real quick here. This is a map where you do not have a ramp, like a high ground area. You're not starting out in the low ground either. There's no tight bottleneck or any kind of elevation that can be utilized on either side here. And so there's a couple things that both races want to watch out for. You know, for one, Protoss can do a really quick Dragoon rush that can be annoying for the Terran. The Terran also, conversely, can do a 2-factory build if it's hidden well enough and surprise a Protoss that might try to fast expand. You obviously can also just play a very, very straight-up game or even try to expand quickly and take a risk. But yeah, there's a lot that can go around here. So if we first have the barracks over here at the natural, and it's going to be a gateway opening, no Nexus first or anything like that.
Now, this build from Flash, almost 100%, this is going to be a gasless expansion from him. And it's a very good build to mix in for a little bit. About a year and a half ago, it was the main build, but Protoss has gotten good against it.
And so with a gasless expand, you get your command center up very quickly. But you also, of course, don't have gas right away. So there are tech abuses that can come out here. You have to be a world-class Terran to hold off any aggression from the Protoss with this build, but Flash is the world-class Terran. So
he's the universe-class Terran. Thank you very much.
Yes. So Rain is opening up with a much more middle-of-the-road build. He might try to get aggressive here. He could also just take a Nexus. But we need to wait and see. And I'm sorry, was there no Probe Scout yet?
No, there's no
none.
Probe Scout. I want to point out two things. First off, we just got that map record. 2 wins for Terran, 7 wins for Protoss on this map. Yet all 11 pro gamers asked said Flash would win. It causes some cognitive dissonance in me to see it's 2 and 7 for Terran against Protoss, because this is generally considered a pretty good map for Terran. It's just very comfortable. This season, or I think it was actually last season, that they put in changes actually to make Terran weaker on it, which were actually very good changes, very smart changes, opening up some expansion areas, the ones that are easier to get, reducing the value of them overall. But yeah, it's definitely a map that everyone thinks that Flash should be able to take, and I think that's why Rain said if he wins the first map, he feels like he has a chance.
Rain's playing what we call a blind man's Protoss. It's a build where you're pretty confident that if Terran were to do anything crazy as far as rushes go, because you saved that extra probe in mind a little bit more, you're probably okay. And so using those extra probes, he's going to have Dragoons that'll scout here while Rain takes his own base. Now, I would say if we had to pair these two builds together right now, I like this a little bit more for Flash.
Oh, for sure.
Because there will be absolutely no opportunity to punish here. Flash did a build opener that was a little bit riskier. If the Protoss found it, there could be a punish, but I don't know if this is Flash having a very good read on how Rain will behave on maps like this, or if he just decided to roll the dice a little bit. Or maybe he knows a way to handle all Protoss aggression from here on out now.
It's a very reasonable map for gasless expansion. You don't generally want to do it on 2-player maps because they're more likely to have a Zealot come towards you, or there's more places to proxy and whatnot. But we saw his SV already dart around to common positions where you might have a proxy robo or something. I think it was a strong choice for him, but you know what the big thing is here? Getting this SCV in and seeing that robotics.
Yeah, that's a really good scout.
That is just so much information.
It is still the most common direction that Protosses take the game is to get the robo, but confirmation is an absolute necessity here. Now, the SCV has been killed off. By the way, just a real quick aside here. When we talk about punishes and hidden robos, Snow did this build. I believe he did it against Flash, actually, where he, or was it last? It was a couple ASLs ago, but Snow made a proxy robo outside the front of the Terran's base and walked a Reaver up and blew up the bunker, and the Dragoons ran in. And it's an instant kill. But, of course, you can't have a punish like that if you don't scout it right away.
No, you really have to know about it very early. But Rain wanted to do a very much more economic opener here. And it's a very solid build that he's done overall. He's going into Observers quickly. He has his 3-range goons, and this is going to cost a lot in repair money for Flash. We saw that he was upgrading before making a unit out of his factory. This is pretty common with this build, so you can get your siege mode out and actually push the Dragoons back, because you can never have all your money line up to get those at the same time.
Right.
But siege mode takes a long time.
Protoss always need to attack this bunker, by the way. It allows you to guarantee you're going to kill scouting workers, but even just, whoa, hold on, very quick Citadel here. This allows you to also just make them spend more minerals. Terrans basically have to factor that they will be spending minerals here. And so this siege tank is perfectly placed. There's not going to be any reason for the Dragoons to come forward. And this is what you see with the very best players in the world. Everybody else just pulls everything away right away, but he says he'll take one shield shot on each Dragoon before he backs up.
Yeah, and he didn't on the very last one. That's because he was doing other stuff and he doesn't want to miss it. So he's actually prioritizing beautifully so far. Meanwhile, you can see Flash literally making a turret ring. So he is playing a very safe game right now. You mentioned that you saw the
this is
Citadel.
actually a really big deal.
Yeah, that's very
He
nice.
lost the first Observer. That's among the worst things that you can do at the start of the game, because you really, especially because is he skipping? Yeah, he's actually skipping Reavers, which are more common in the at least the meta of what we cast. But pretty much all Protosses like to get Reavers. He's going right into an Arbiter tech here.
Yes, and that's a smart play from him, I think. Look at this. Flash is on location,
you see that, CC?
Building his third command.
That's because that Observer was hit.
Yes.
Terrans, if you kill the first Observer, Terrans can actually just go and make the CC. The odds of a Protoss being, I don't know if it'd be brave or foolish enough to have Dragoons out on the map to try to scout that third. This may be a game where Rain is just squashed economically.
Well, Rain is going to give himself some tools to try to fight against this with, right? Flash right now mining up the map. Right now, without even scouting it, I'm sure that he's thinking, okay, this is 2-base Arbiter. Because this is actually a pretty common way to play if you open up with Quick Observer and you just kind of sit there and you don't try to take a very fast third base and there's no Reaver or anything like that. It generally means 2-base Arbiter.
Right.
And a way that Rain really likes to play in this matchup is not just getting Stasis, but also going for Quick Storm.
Right. By the way, good scout with the Observer. Rain really on top of that. He actually spots the third CC, but this is a little bit uncomfortable because Terran usually are never supposed to get their third base up before the Protoss. We have later scanners coming down here, which are another. Oh my God, he's so gutsy. Again, I think a lot of this goes back to that initial Observer getting killed off. You can pace out how many Observers are going to be out and where they each have to go. If you're playing perfectly, which Observers are going to scout for the third, check for the armory, which Observers are there. And again, these are 2 more Observers that are going to be picked off.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay,
one barely survives, but
good thing. Really can't be losing that many Observers. Okay, finally, just now started that Arbiter. It feels like that was just a little bit late from Rain. All right, a scan goes down, seeing the Citadel. This pretty much confirms what he was thinking about there. But just the fact that Flash is going to 4 bases, this is like the quickest 4 bases outside of circuit breakers I've ever seen.
Did he see the 4th command center? I'm actually not sure if he did. I know there was an observer close to there.
Yeah, it was close. I'm not 100% sure.
I'll tell you, even very top-tier Protosses don't immediately assume that there's a 4th command center that's being built on site. You're usually checking for the 4th CC, where the 3rd is or where the natural is, because it's not safe. But again, I feel like all this stems from, you know, Rain a little bit lower on intel. It's a thing that a lot of Terrans don't experience on their end as much, but if you just lose a few observers, you really, a lot of times, don't have any idea what the hell's going on the Terran side of the map. But I will point this out, too. Because of the pacing here, I think Rain is matching him pretty well.
Yes,
there's not a lot of, if you look at the number of Dragoons out, there's not a lot. He's made gateways, but he hasn't even used all the gateways. Yeah, he's actually just making sure to get more Nexuses and continue to make probes here. He has enough to hold off a wave of Vultures. That's about it.
Yeah, Flash undoubtedly has a bit of an edge, but it's not like he can attack. He doesn't have a high factory count at all right now. He is getting into upgrades. No Science Vessel or anything like that. And Rain is going to have all the tools that he wants by the time Flash can really move out. So even though this looks like a little bit of an advantage to Flash, if Rain does this just right, and I believe he's going to have both Stasis and Psystorm, we're going to see some strong fights from him.
We don't even have Zealot legs done yet, and that's because he needs to get both Storm, a lot of gateways. This looks really funny for Protoss, because Protoss is kind of trying to watch and see if there's ever an explosion of units coming out, in which case he make a wave from the factory. It's also one of the reasons why, if you notice, Rain's been ahead of making pylons. He's at 144 of 172, and he actually had a lot more pylons for a while before this started, because he's getting the rest of his infrastructure, because he can burst out his army in a couple of waves pretty easily. Just to also point out, we're about to hit 11 minutes. And I want to say it's like 11 minutes and maybe 40 seconds or something around there is about as quick as a Protoss can max out. Maybe actually a little bit lower than that. Maybe it's like 11.
Well, it matters with the tech routes, of course, and stuff,
right,
too.
Right. But if you're going to get the tech set up and throw all these gates down, basically what I'm getting at is that we're in the area where Protoss can pop up to being maxed out very quickly, and Terran will follow right behind that. And then we're going to see some engagements. Now, when the Protoss's upgrades start to finish for the ground, they still don't match what the Terran's upgrades are going to be. So the Protoss tries to use a combination of recalls and stasis, recalls into the main or the expansions, and stasis to freeze the army if it's pushing, along with Psystorm to try to fight this. Protoss has to use a series of abilities or they will just get rolled over by the Terran's army.
Now, you know, on this map, it can be a little bit difficult to stop recalls. You notice that Flash is really setting up for a recall coming in. He's building plenty of turrets to try to take out an Arbiter. It takes 3 turrets to gun down an Arbiter before it can get away if it's flying over the turrets.
Yeah.
So he's setting them up very thickly and laying a lot of mines, because he knows that if Rain really wants to get a recall off, he will get it, but he wants to make it as inefficient as possible. Look at that army, man.
Okay, we're getting a setup for the first recall here. Now, I think he has 4 Arbiters. Am I correct on that?
I think he has 3, but maybe you're right on 4. But
I think, well, hold on. We're actually going to see a recall.
Yeah, hallucination is being used.
Oh, this is great.
But that's just hallucination.
Okay, so that was to pull the Terran army back. Now, this is meta stuff. So he actually fakes him out. He sends fake Arbiters into the main because, I guess, that did force some of the tanks and the Vultures to unsiege, which exposes the tanks in the front. Now, he wins that fight. He's dislocated this army, and now he's going to get access over here. This is like the most perfect Protoss play ever.
Yeah.
He now gets access over to the 4th base.
This was an absolutely beautiful mind game. Flash actually in a lot of trouble right now.
I think he got hallucination before Storm. I don't know that Storm is actually done at all.
No, you're very right. He went right up to hallucination. That was beautifully done.
Yeah, and this is Rain absolutely, perfectly, completely, and totally setting up. And this right now is a victory. We've drawn first blood here in late game, and this was a win here for the Protoss. Now, I think Flash can still reclaim. We'll see, though, but I think he can reclaim this location. But to interrupt the 4th mining base as Protoss takes a 5th is pretty huge in this matchup.
Yeah, it was just an awesome move. And now Flash has so much more he has to worry about, because just as soon as you play a Protoss and he uses hallucination once, you know you cannot stop recalls at all, and they can get into the middle of your base.
Right.
So the turret line is for people who don't get recall, And then once they have, I mean, not recall, sorry, hallucination.
Right.
Once they have hallucination, you can't tell which one's a hallucination.
Yeah, there's
so
always a possibility. Yeah, there's always a possibility of a fake Arbiter. And this is Protoss's response to science vessels on the exterior here to try to EMP stuff.
It's important to note when you're laying the mines, you're laying them where the recall will go off before the turrets kill it. But if the turrets can't kill it because you have hallucinations with it, then suddenly it can recall anywhere in your base, which makes it even more dangerous.
Okay. He's zoned him out a little bit here, but it's hard for Terran to reach to the bottom right. And we've seen Flash do it before, but I mean, you're going to be pretty hungry if you're Rain to try to look for another opening. Now, is it going to be a recall in the main? I don't know. But, you know, he's playing... Hold on a second. What are these Templars doing?
I think he's coming up. I don't know what.
This is just a bad rally or something like that.
Yeah, something wrong there.
He's going to try to actually just go into the main. He sees that Flash might be over-defending in the center right, and so he's going to try to just do a pretty brazen push in here. Now this is going to force the siege tanks to relocate. I want to see what the next move is for Protoss here. He does have Templars. There's no storm on that, right? I didn't see the energy.
I think that one of them does have a storm, but yeah, I guess not if he's not casting it.
Okay, I find this move a little bit questionable. He did beat down the supply there for Terran.
The beginning of it was good, and then he just kind of lost a bunch of units right there, so... Not exactly perfect, but some Vulture countering going on in the meantime, just ignoring that cannon, getting a ton of probes.
Okay,
very strong
nicely done. Kills off all the workers and gets back out. There's another expansion south of this. We've given it very little screen time, but Rain is really at a point here where Protoss is getting frighteningly big. It's +2 attack, +1 armor. I don't know that we're going to see a push from Terran just yet.
Well, Flash right now is not missing a beat, right? Like, Rain has done some cool tactical moves and tricked him out a little bit, and he's taken a bunch of bases, and all that's great. But Flash is sitting here with less than 200 minerals maxing out again, keeping his upgrades flowing. He's laying mines everywhere. He's Vulture harassing. He's really getting his stuff together here. And, I mean, this is hard for Rain to deal with.
Yeah, this is incredibly...
Just slowing him down, and he's harassing.
This is incredibly annoying here for the Protoss.
Look at this. He's using half of his Vultures to slow down the Dragoons and the other half to kill probes.
Yeah.
Beautiful moves from Flash.
Oh, he's got to be careful. There's no observer with this army. I don't know how many observers are in this game. He's definitely had enough time to make some more here. But we're in that phase of the game where there's like a huge balancing act for, you know, who has, you know, what set of units do you have? Right now, Flash knows he can send Vultures out and maybe do more damage by killing workers or stuffing mines down the Protoss's throat than trying to push out with everything at once here.
Yeah, and this is actually something you really need to do in situations like this where there's lots of Arbiters out. If you consistently throw out Vultures to harass with, you're trading away Vulture supply because you want to stay near max. But you're trading away Vulture supply and buying time while refilling with siege tanks. I bet you when we see Flash's big attack come out that he has 20 tanks.
Yeah, and I think we're about to get
Look
there.
At this. That is an insane amount of tanks.
Now, we want to watch for the EMP versus Arbiter and Templar. Both these spells are a bit clunky, Stasis and EMP.
God.
But
if he
can catch a cluster,
Look at this, the vessel's coming forward. Oh, nails the EMP right there, but now he has to rely on scans. Here comes the army of Rain. It's a great spread right now. But look at how many tanks are here.
Yeah, he's going to get in there. He needs to start to kill the bulk of these tanks off. And I don't know that he is able to do that. Now, keep in mind, Protoss has so many gates. This is when +3 attack, +2 armor finishes. There should be so many more units coming out. Now, Flash needs to push into the right location. He's decided that is down in the south. Protoss could have the opportunity to try to interact with reinforcements here.
Flash's Mac right now not missing a beat. He's taking his 5th base during all of this as well. A scan up to that high ground, sieging plenty of tanks. The Vulture's heading up as well. Let's see if Rain can actually clear this out because Flash is spread a little bit thin.
Yeah, this is what we're talking about. He's freezing tanks and isolating certain numbers of them. He's going to try to come down here and take out this location. I'm worried that Rain, that's it, GG. He just does not have enough. That last big fight we had, Rain did not quite handle it well enough. But you know what? I think the real error in Rain's play was when he tried to attack into the natural with the ground army.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a flub, and his supply didn't fully recover from there either.
Yeah,
the beginning of the attack was actually really nice, and then he kind of sat there. We didn't see storms come out. I'm not sure what was going on.
So Flash got a lead in that game. Rain also lost the Observer, giving Flash a further lead. Then Rain had some of the best play I've ever seen with the hallucinated Arbiters, faking that out to then allow him to push into the fourth. But Rain wasn't able to then seize that opportunity that he had given himself and keep that lead. But again, it's pretty damn hard to do against Flash.
Well, you're not going to see a macro game like that every day. Flash was so on top of his economy, so on top of his production and his upgrades, his attack timing. The harassment was so beautiful, allowing him to backfill his supply with siege tanks. And when you get that many siege tanks, things start to get out of control.
Yeah. We're going to go to Game 2. Flash versus Rain will continue on after this short break.
재미가 없으면 원래 TV가 아니지. All of this for what? Because of a puppy?
Wasn't just a puppy.
You remember that conversation we had about grabbing that house up in Napa?
What house?
I'm Charlie Peck. Scott Howard. Foxglove is yours now.
We'll take good care of it.
The man acts like the house still belongs to him. This guy is dangerous. I've seen the way that he looks at you.
Now Charlie is after me.
Stay away from my wife.
If you lost everything that was important, and then you had a chance to get it back, wouldn't you just go for it?
It's not your house.
Lights out! 88!
Everything I do for us.
We're back here at the ASL, and what an insane game for Game 1. I mean, that was one of those ultimate macro games. A lot of times that's where Flash is actually his scariest. He knew how to cut every single corner to get a crazy lead.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you something, man. Rain was so perfect with that initial fake recall into the main with the hallucinated Arbiters.
Great move.
And then actually recalling a chunk of that onto the tanks. And almost actually wiping out the fourth base. I mean, it was some of the best, frankly, some of the best decision-making early game on both sides. And Rain was actually at a disadvantage to start. Flash had an overall better build.
Yeah.
And then, I guess the one big mistake, it might look really small to the casual observer, but the observer, the first one that came out, died. And so, before scouting the main. And so, the third command center for Flash was actually made on site.
Yeah, and there was little that he could do to to really counter that. This is really the power of Flash. It's not just mechanically he's so good. Like, for instance, Last could probably keep up with that macro and produce those units. But what Flash can do is make these small micro decisions in-game to do things like expand, on location both, because he knows that no matter what Rain does at this moment, he can stop it. It's just he makes the hardest things in the world look simple and easy.
Another reminder here, the finals of the ASL Season 8 is going to be at 5 p.m. KST at Children's Grand Park Outdoor Concert Hall. Just rolls right off the tongue, you know?
Yeah. This is a great venue, and if you're in Korea, go.
Yeah, come down here. It's going to be a blast. And, I mean, whether it's Rain or Flash, who moves on and faces off against Snow, you're going to have a good time.
No doubt about that. All right. Moving forward into game number 2. We are going to be going into Blockchain here. Now, Blockchain, when it first came out, it really looked like a Terran Graveyard in this matchup.
Yep.
And it kind of started out that way because it is very good for shuttles, it's very good for Reavers, even for recalls, but... wait, I meant to say Reavers and then Carriers, and even good for recall, but you normally don't get into Arbiters because the Carrier's so strong.
You tend to not get Carriers and Arbiters.
Yeah.
You can, but it usually requires a series of exceptional things happening.
Yeah, so it looked like that, but then Last, the second best Terran on Earth, really came up with some plays that would punish fast-expanding Protosses, so it seems like a more even map now.
All right, game 2 is ready. Flash vs. Rain continues on. Okay, game 2 is ready. We have Flash here in the bottom left, sharing the same side of the map. It's going to be Rain here in the upper left. And so, this map, all the parameters are totally different. You can move all from every edge of the map by a worker hugging the corners of the map by how do I say this? Mine scouting through the eggs. There's geysers you can destroy. There's a lot of odd functions on this map that can allow you to either open up edges of the map or shut them off entirely. So it's possible to have some islands behave as, some locations behave as islands.
Yeah, that's true. And there are certain areas that you're going to have to just kind of check off and just either destroy the eggs to be able to walk through or destroy the geysers so your opponent can't walk through, so they can't get strong positions on you.
Now, there's actually not a lot of easily seizable bases on this map.
That's true.
It's a map that a lot of times we're going to have a much better idea of how it's going to happen after the first few expansions have been taken. It's not like, for instance, Neo Sylphid, where you can cut a corner, take a base, cut another corner, and take another base.
Yeah, not very much like that, because if you're taking anything beyond your natural, generally it's going to be an island map, because otherwise it needs to be, way over in another main or another natural. So far away it becomes almost impossible to defend. Of course, the middle of the map sometimes gets taken by Terran players, because the map is actually very kind of thin in the center, so you can actually turtle up the entire thing. It's not big, and you're not able to run around as easily as, like, let's say, Fighting Spirit, who also has a base in the center. This one, it's more compact. There's a lot of buildable terrain. So Terran can dominate that center, but the center expansions on this version, they have been lowered, the mineral and gas in them.
So a couple ideas we've had here from Protoss is that Reavers are pretty good. I mean, if it's a map where things turn into islands, a Reaver is quite good. By the way, a little subtle thing there. That pylon will block that area off.
That's right. Can't run vultures by or something like that.
Exactly.
I believe
does that block off workers? It does not, right?
I think it might. I know if you put a depot there, I'm almost certain that it blocks everything.
A depot, I thought, blocked everything, but pylons are funny with what they block and don't block.
Yeah, they're kind of funny because they have that ballerina pose, you know?
Yeah, it's really weird.
I always think of
the
pylons
Citadel's
as just
another funny one.
That power buildings, you know?
Citadels are also funny, where it looks like it would 100% block something off, and then it just totally doesn't.
Yeah,
certain
you can
spots.
kind of duck and walk under the side of it. Okay, so this is another gasless expand from Flash. My guess is this is the last time that we'll see that in the series, but well, actually I guess we could see on tripod. That would be totally reasonable. But yeah, interesting to see him do this twice right in a row. Of course, there are some builds that can really be scary that you can do against this. We'll see what Rain chooses to do. I feel like he's just going to expand, though. Yeah. Look at that. He makes a Rain for an SCV, so he's not screwing around trying to trick Flash. He knows that tricking Flash is very difficult.
Yeah, you try to buy time and get that later, then the Nexus might be later. And really, you don't want Flash to start to lap you. Now, I imagine Rain learned his lesson from that last game. I do think that's a game that Rain could have possibly won, but again, really questionable decision-making to try to attack into the natural. He did not pull away.
Yeah, well, I think that, yeah, if he ran in for a moment and then pulled away, that could have been a very strong move.
That would have been fine, but he's held his ground there.
Yeah. I mean, Flash played so magnificently as well. It was...
Oh, sure. No, I'm not...
pretty crazy.
I just want to point out there were one or two decisions that Flash didn't make correctly, where I think Flash basically played a perfect game.
Yeah.
Now, there's a second factory hidden on the map. That's a tough spot to ever scout for Terran.
Like, there's no reason at all ever to go over there until much later in the game. So that's the type of proxy where you see it and you're like, okay, this person really knows what they're doing.
And this is not a very common thing that Protoss are really expecting every game. Is I wonder if the second factory is hidden on the map. So this is
almost never
a very much prepared build. I mean, keep in mind these guys actually had a lot of time to prep for each other. They both expected to be. They were both expected to be facing off against each other like weeks ago, and here we are. So, if Flash has some kind of ace up his sleeve, I think we're going to be seeing it here in this game.
So Flash is actually getting an eBay here too. So it seems like he's playing a pretty safe game here at home, or at least trying to make it look safe. And then I believe he's actually getting Vulture speed. I should have paid more attention to the gas. I believe he's getting a siege tank at home and Vulture speed, most likely.
I think he's totally walled in here. So the tank's going to come out and try to fight this, and because the Dragoons come up and try to hit this bunker, the Vultures are just going to run inside the main, and he's going to get a lot of kills on workers.
There is one really cool tactic, by the way, cool that he's blocking that, but there's one really cool tactic where what you do is you lay mines behind the goons that are attacking your bunker and then push them out.
Yeah.
And when you push them out like that, they just die to the mines no matter what.
Okay, this is so smart. Oh, the Vultures might have pushed him away a little bit too quickly here.
Yeah, it could have been the speed upgrade first. No, let's see.
It's going to be one. We're about to see it finish. Either mines or speed. It would not be siege mode because that would not help. What is it going to be?
Ooh, he shows himself to the pylon pretty quickly.
Is it speed?
Yeah,
is
it's
it Vultures?
speed. It's speed.
Okay, it's speed. He gets in.
This is insane damage already.
Yeah.
This is so unbelievably worth it already. Look at how many probes. 4 or 5 probes, 6. Oh my gosh. Crazy amounts of damage. All that lost mining time, a 100% full scout,
and
something like 7 probes.
Okay, so right now, Rain again is at a disadvantage. Really brilliant strategy here from Flash.
Beautifully
and there
done.
we go. Now the first observer's been lost again.
Beautifully done.
Rain having a hard time with these first observers.
Well, you know what's really funny about it is you try as a Terran player to not make turrets. You know, sometimes you have to make them. You think you're being cheese or something, and Flash didn't think he was being cheese necessarily. He just kind of made him as a safety precaution because he has the second factory, and if Rain goes Reaver, you're in trouble. So he just made him, and, you know, suddenly, instead of playing against what is more stock standard, like a quick armory and a quick academy, which kind of covers that because you get glides and scans, there's a turret, and suddenly Rain is doing something else, and he loses an observer, and it's like, oh my god.
Yeah, it actually is really hard to not lose the first observer.
It is hard.
The turret fires very fast, and the observer does not turn around very quickly. So, look, he gets those probes. The strategy worked, but an even bigger threat is unraveling here, and it's that Flash 100% knows that carriers are being made, and you can know carriers would be coming at some point in time, but to see the exact moment that they're about to come out is definitely going to be favored for the Terran here.
Yeah, it shows him exactly what type of timing that he has here. And You know, it's hard to even hit that timing still, but the fact that he got like 7 probes plus some lost mining time there.
Okay, this is a fake, right? There's actually no Reaver here.
There's no Reaver.
But he made a shuttle. Now, this is all for the optics. He wants it to look like there could be a Reaver because that might scare Flash back, but...
and the shuttle in general can be helpful, right? Maybe
you could sell it
a
to
mine
drop
drag and drop on a siege tank.
But I mean, I really, a shuttle is... Okay, so look, I think this might have worked. He's making it look like there's possibly a Reaver. The army's behaving and moving in as such that it's threatened by a Reaver.
Something important to add, like I mentioned before, there's a lot of buildable terrain on this map. So a lot of times against something like this, you'll see Terran bring SCVs, and he already made it his eBay, so he can actually do a turret push here and make his Goliaths a little bit later. Normally on a lot of maps, you would have to make Goliaths before you go, which makes the push a lot weaker.
Okay, I think Flash has seen through the ruse.
He knows what's up.
There's no Reaver in here. And this ground army is going to start pummeling this, and I think Rain is just going to die. And you're absolutely right, Artosis. We could see turrets get thrown down here.
Yeah.
The interceptors just started. So this is more than enough time for the Terran army to completely pummel this spot. And even then, I mean, there's a few Marines that they're going to have to be fought. A handful of turrets, like 4 turrets, and the carriers can't even fight here.
This is just, we're watching the greatest player. And the way that he's playing, the way that he is prepared here.
Yeah.
Look at how strong this looks.
Yeah.
If I had never played 20 years of this game, I would think that this shiny alien race is stupid, and why would anyone ever use it?
Oh, yeah. You'd say, what's going on with these guys with the tanks? So the carrier's out. The problem is it's too late. GG. Perfect timing attack. Perfect strategy. And Flash now is up 2-0. I thought we were going to see Rain win a game, but I'll tell you something. As good as Rain is looking, Flash has got an answer for everything. He has planned this out perfectly. And the only way we're going to have a Flash not move forward here to the finals is Rain coming back 3-0.
Yeah, that's a pretty tall order, I would say. Not very likely to see that happen.
Yeah, Rain not looking too happy here.
Well, Flash used just a tricky build order that game, right? He proxied a factory out on the map. There's no reason for you to scout that early. In fact, even trying to scout that early would look so weird, and like, what are you doing? Your units are out of position if he's doing something more normal.
Yeah.
Right? So Flash just kind of caught him at a beautiful moment and really punished him.
Really good play here by Flash. But it's not over till it's over. Let's see what Rain can do in Game 3. It's going to be on Overwatch. Now, I do want to point out Rain has not quite gotten to play the games he's wanted to play. He was at a build order disadvantage in Game 1, and Flash just outmaneuvered him in Game 2. But again, Flash looking like the scariest player of all time. I mean, this is why he sort of maxed out his stats on everything.
Yeah.
You know, he really doesn't have an Achilles heel. And so when we come back, hopefully the best game of Rain's life. We'll be right back.
재미가 없으면 원래 TV가 아니지. All of this for what? Because of a puppy?
wasn't just a puppy. (100년) 전 우리의 영화가 관객 앞에 선보였습니다. 인간의 변화와 삶을 담기 시작했고 소리와 그 소리의 의미를 담았고 우리의 삶에 색깔을 입혔습니다. (100년은) 사람의 눈으로 사람을 담았습니다. 우리는 과거의 100년을 지나 미래의 100년으로 향합니다.
영화라는 체험, 그 100년의 시간.
Okay, we're back, and speaking of being back, I hope we have a comeback here from Rain. Otherwise, this is a clean sweep, 3-0.
Yeah.
And Flash is going to end the round of 4 on a very high note.
Yeah, if you 3-0 Rain, that really does mean something there. Our next map is going to be Overwatch. This one is definitely a bit Protoss favored, so it's a map that you got to look at and say, okay, this is where Rain could take a map, take God down. Yeah, if he goes for like Observer into Carrier again, though, that's like raising your hand and asking Flash to come and destroy you, right? You have nothing to slow him down. You're just like, hey, can you hit this perfectly? And Flash is like, yeah, of course I can hit it perfectly. I invented it, okay? So it's not an issue. So I really want to see Rain do a little bit more before he rushes his tech that far, right?
Is there any merit in Rain trying something crazy here? You can see he really clearly wants to play like in the meta. He wants to do an Arbiter game on Neo Sylphid. He wanted to do a carrier rush. Now, I know that's the quickest carrier rush you can do on that map, but he wanted to do a carrier rush on blockchain, which is also standard and in the meta here.
Yeah.
Does he do something really weird? Actually, we don't even have any time. We're just tearing through today. Game 3's loaded up. Flash versus Rain. Let's go.
In the bottom right, we have Flash.
I hope we see Rain win a game here.
I do too, honestly. Top left, we have Rain.
I knew we were going to have Flash probably win, but
yeah,
I'm feeling a little bit here for Rain. I mean, things are working for Flash very, very quickly in these games.
Yeah, I want to talk about styles for a moment here. Okay, so Rain is going to gas steal, so that's cool. We'll see how that goes for him. But yeah, so stylistically, Rain's style is not that good against Flash's style because the way Rain plays basically straight up beats every Terran in the world except for Last and Flash, okay?
Hold on, we're actually going to have...
Oh, it's actually a proxy gate. Okay, that's cool.
Okay. If we can, let's just hop into this real faster because this is going to start to pick up pretty quickly. The gateway is going to get thrown down here right away. Actually, this is going to be a gate and a gas steal, I think. Because of the timing of this.
Yeah, there's a possibility. If you proxy gate and gas steal, I don't feel like they fit together perfectly, but some people do definitely like to do it.
Is that not as good anymore?
I mean, the thing is you're forcing them to slow down their factory usually with a proxy gate anyways, and they're going to get a lot of Marines, so the gas gets taken out a little bit quicker. I don't think it's the most gigantic deal, but let's see.
Let's see, is it? Okay, it is gate gas.
Yeah.
Now, what's going to happen here? First of all, Terran did not block off the entrance like an older school Terran build. So the Zealots can come in. Now, the Probe is one of the best units early game in StarCraft 1. It's fast. It can turn very quickly. It has a slightly ranged attack.
Yeah.
And Flash goes for 2 barracks. Now, what I was about to say is you're going to be delaying the factory tremendously, but Flash is going for an unconventional play, and he's getting 2 barracks right away, which means Flash has some kind of plan to fend this off and then punch back twice as hard.
Yeah, this is like the I'm not screwing around against Zealots build.
Right.
Like, for instance, if they go 2 gates, you definitely want to do something like this. Against 1 gate, you can. Flash should be able to hold this with very little damage done to him. The trick is in the transition. That's the hard part, because Bio is not actually good against Protoss. So do you try to get hyper-aggressive and get rid of them before they can get to Reaver, or do you try to transition into factory play?
Yeah, now when StarCraft 1 first came out, there was a lot of alarm about this matchup specifically because all the Protoss units could beat all the Terran units until Terrans figured out how to wall it in mech. And so we have a very old kind of bumpy tech that's being used to try that will hold off this rush. It is not difficult for Terran to stay behind this blockade and hold this off.
Yeah, the Zealots basically really can't do anything. I would be surprised if he actually commits at all. Right? Like, he'll take a hit and then run away.
Yeah.
He doesn't even want the shields to go because it's so clear that you can't snowball this at all as Rain. As Rain, you have to go into higher tech.
Now, there's a second gate being made at home. I think the way that Protoss could shoot themselves in the foot is if they had thrown a Nexus down behind this, because then the counterattack is unstoppable. Terran also has some other options here. Again, this is one of the more complex games we have here. Terran can try to go into some bio play, but it seems like that could be answerable for Protoss. Instead, Terran's bringing SCVs and Zealots out and is going to try to take a fight and maybe take down the gateway here.
Yeah, I do think that he is probably going for the gateway. But, like, let's say the Zealots try to run around him and go towards the main. I could see Flash going for the main as well.
Okay.
But because Rain is playing it more safe, it seems like this is a good way to do it. Just kill off this gate, maybe kill the pylon as well. You shouldn't be able to push very much further, though.
Yeah.
I don't think, but it's Flash, so he definitely knows better.
He's going to have the math on this. Wait, was that an Academy? Oh, he clicked too fast. We'll never know.
It was a depot.
It was a depot, okay. Okay, good control here. Now, the Zealots are kind of like Lings. They want to be behind here because you could intercept anything else that's going to rush. The Dragoons are going to stay on the ramp.
Yeah, continuing to push forward. The Zealots want to catch any reinforcements that come. We could definitely see Rain hold this, though. I don't... Oh, my God! Never mind.
Okay, that was the mistake that he had to make to lose this game, is to get that the Dragoon surrounded. Now, there's a battery here, but 2 Dragoon shots is a much bigger deal than 1, and the Zealots are going to come in here from behind. The probe drill has started here.
Yeah, he's targeting down the Zealots so quickly, and now he moved out of the probe drill range. So he's going to kill a decent amount of probes here. He will end up losing all of his bio.
Yeah, I think Rain still holds this. But hold on, this bunker is almost finished.
Oh, that's annoying.
Annoying is an understatement, Artosis. This is the worst thing that could ever happen. Now, a second bunker is being made, which is going to be in range of the minerals. You know, had Rain not lost that Dragoon.
Yes.
I'm telling you.
That's exactly it. Like, he was just a little bit sloppy and a little bit slow getting up that ramp, and you can't have that. You have to stop them from getting up so easily and setting this all up, and an extra Dragoon definitely does that.
Oh, man, and the Marine actually gets inside the bunker. Only making things worse, and now that's the only gateway, correct? There's not one above the Nexus, right?
No, that's the only gateway. Oh, he's losing probes here. You can see him shaking his head right now, knowing that everything has gone wrong at this point.
You know, Rain's initial strategy started, it was kind of working, and then Flash completely shut it down and turned the game around and is crushing here.
Look at that. No more gateway. Now, he does have 3 range Dragoons, so technically you can kill a lot of this stuff, but he's losing so many probes that if he GGs, I will not be surprised.
Yeah, there it is. GG. Flash, 3-0s.
Just destroys Rain. Just destroys him. A dominating performance. And Flash now, it's his 5th ASL Finals, his 5th out of 7 tournaments.
Right.
My God. And your God and everyone else's. He is something else.
Flash did it. Again, I really thought it was going to be a little bit closer. I know it's Flash, but man, Rain has been looking so strong. Rain, a KSL and ASL champion. Rain never had, I think, a moment that lasted more than a minute where he had a true edge in all of tonight.
You might be right about that.
He had the hallucination in game 1 that faked it out, and then the recall in the middle of the map, and then it was flashback to winning the entire night.
Yeah. Even at the end there, I love that Flash had a very strong counter to what Rain was doing, the instant second barracks and the push. That push did not have to win, by the way. He was ready to go into a regular game after that.
Yeah, it seems like he's got something mathed out where you really slow the Protoss down and things sort of even out.
Yeah.
But again, that Dragoon getting surrounded, guys, that was everything. Had that Dragoon not been surrounded, a much higher likelihood that the Marine Rush would have been completely thwarted, and we would have Terran expanding and Protoss expanding, and the Terran teching up and slowly expanding as well. We would have had a much longer game. We're going to go to an interview now with Flash and see how he's feeling. He has moved on to the finals. He will face off against Snow in the ASL.
First of all, after having one season break, I started from the preliminaries and I made it here. And now that I'm going to the finals, I'm really happy. And 2 seasons ago, I was unable to achieve my 4th championship, but this time I'll try to make sure I achieve it. In the final stage, we will be going up against Snow. And Snow's theme this season is Kingslayer, and so far he's shown phenomenal performance. What do you think about the matchup against Snow? It's going to be a formidable one for sure. So I'm going to make thorough preparation, and he's really good at PBT. So if I can prepare like I did today, so even if Snow puts on a really good performance, I think I do have the upper hand going into that series. Such a speechless performance today, Flash. And all the fans have high expectations on you, and you're able to really reflect on that. And what kind of performance will you put on in the finals? And this season of the ASL, Season 8, if I can win this year on Season Championship, that means I've won 50% of the ASL so far. So I'll try to continue that momentum and show everyone that I am the King of Terran. And I believe that no StarCraft player has been able to achieve that so far. So I want to be the first one to achieve that. Please do look forward to my performance. Once again, congratulations on making the finals.
And
we'll see you in the finals, Flash. Please give a round of applause to Flash, please.
Wow.
Yeah.
3-0. Every game he crushed. He crushed!
He did crush. It was not close, but back to what I was saying, in the Overwatch game, stylistically, Flash's style is pretty good against Rain. Snow's is a lot better against Flash's than Rain's is. He's going to mix it up a lot in the earlier games. He's going to try to get in there with a Reaver and get some damage early on. So I'm thinking that finals is going to be a lot better than this round of 4 match.
I do think Snow's PBT is better. I think it's more engaged with the Terran.
Yes, that's a good way to put it.
But we'll see, man. Again, guys, this is Flash's last tournament for a long time. This is the most dominant, greatest esports professional gamer out of all games of all time. And he's going to be on a long hiatus coming up here. So he will be in our finals, and this may be the best finals you ever see in StarCraft because of who is involved. It is Flash, who I think needs little introduction, especially if you're watching today's cast or know anything about StarCraft or esports at all. But Snow has been revolutionizing Protoss versus Terran. He has been, out of everybody, the most on the cutting edge in PvT. He also beat Flash in their last best of 5 in the official match.
Yes, he did beat him in that.
And that was the first time Flash lost in that matchup in a best of 5, and I think like was it 11 years or 8 years or something?
It was an extremely long amount
It was
of time.
some number that was so ridiculous when I said it. I thought, are we sure? Yeah, I thought, have we really done our research? And then I even checked after the show, and I went, okay, it is true. So either Flash wins finishing the combo, or he loses and will be for a little bit in obscurity until he can come back, assuming he does come back. I imagine he would, but you never know, man.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait for that final, seriously. I think that Snow, he's got a lot to work with. Seeing what Flash is capable of, and Snow is going to find as many weak points as he possibly can and pounce upon them. Because as good as Flash is, as close to perfection as he is, the game has an infinite skill ceiling, and there are areas where he can be attacked.
Okay, there it is. Snow versus Flash. This is, again, going to be at Children's Grand Park Outdoor Concert Hall. You can get there on line 5 or line 7. And it'll be an evening cast, so we'll get there, have a little bit of a pre-show, and then we'll start this. And maybe I'm wrong again, like I was with the rain games, but I think this is going to be close. It was close last time, and Flash lost.
Yes, that's true.
Okay.
That is true.
Come on.
Come on.
Come on, guys.
Well, I'm sure people are going to tune into that because that one is literally Flash's last pro match.
Yeah, that is literally
ever.
actually it, yeah.
So, no, even if it's a 4-0, it's a momentous occasion, and
yeah.
I don't think there's any possibility of a 4-0. Even I don't. And you can hear the way I speak about Flash.
That's right.
You know how I speak about Flash, Tasteless?
How?
Truthfully. And that's what's so scary about it.
When Artosis opens his mouth, it's like a spotlight of justice, revealing everything that there is.
It's true.
All the goodness of Flash. But, dude, I'll tell you, man, I'm really rooting for Snow here as a Protoss player, and I just as a fan of the way he plays the game.
Yeah.
He's really, really strong. The problem is that Flash seems to be so prepared, so ahead. I've always been fascinated with how his mind works, because obviously he's able to meld with the game in such a way that he makes it look like it's got StarCraft 2 controls. But then the way that he's planned seems to be so ahead of what the other players are doing.
Yeah. He's just too good at too many different things, and it makes for silly series like that against the second best player in the world.
You know what? I mean, we've seen in a lot of Rain's PvT games, he will send the Dragoons out and start to fire at the bunker.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
it's normal.
The prepping in game 2, I mean, he definitely did his homework there.
Yeah, he really did.
I don't think he threw that factory down willy-nilly. That was very calculated.
Doesn't do anything willy-nilly.
No. Wow. Okay, well, here's I almost forgot. I
know. This is so hype.
Action versus Rain, the third place match, is going to take place on Sunday at 7 p.m. KST. We will, of course, be casting that. And then a week from that, we will have the Snow versus Flash finals.
And Action Rain should be good. Action brought a lot of cool stuff against Snow and certainly learned some things as well. So he's been practicing ZVP for a very long time, whereas Rain has been practicing PvT. I feel like Action can put up a good series, but obviously Rain is favored there.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see what happens with that. If you're in the studio, by the way, hang on to your tickets. We have a giveaway at the end of the show. We're giving away mouse pads, jerseys, little mini fans to keep you cool, as well as little codes for the Carbot skin, which is now on StarCraft Remastered.
It's so cute.
From the famous Carbot cartoon.
That's
which is very cute.
And I promise your kids will love it, because mine sure do.
Yes.
So, it was a good day. Even though it was like a quick 3-0 and pretty one-sided games, it's just wonderful to even be into StarCraft and get to watch a player like Flash play like this, where all these people practice so hard and are so smart and so good, and he can just do that to somebody. Just have his way with him.
Yeah, he just owned him, man. He smashed him.
He owned him.
I thought this was going to be an incredibly long night. I was really excited.
I thought it was going to be as long as last night.
I was excited for it to be a very long, dramatic night. We had one long PvT and then one cut short mid-game PvT and then one backfiring cheese PvT. Flash won faster in each game as the best of 5 continued on.
That's true.
I don't know what you call it. It's not like it's the opposite of exponential growth. Like
exponential
the
decay.
game, like the length of the game's like imploded on themselves by the end.
Yeah. We got towards 0 game time where it hit actually on game number 4.
Game 4, which didn't happen.
0.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, wow. Snow will have a little bit of research that he can use going into this. But how helpful will that really be?
Flash will just rotate builds. Like, he doesn't need to do any of those builds on any of those maps. He will rotate stuff around so that you can't predict.
They're playing music. That sounds like the music you play to end a show, and I've been told I was right about that. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. The next match is Sunday, 7 p.m. KST, and then a week later we have the grand finals, again at the location described before, at 5 p.m. KST. We love you guys. Thank you for joining us. Have a good morning, afternoon, or night, wherever you are. Bye-bye.